What up, guys? I am Sa Ra Garvey, and welcome back to Class is in Session. I am Sa Ra Garvey, okay? And today we're going to be exploring this statement. I know you see it on the board. Jews were slaves in Egypt. Now, how true is that statement? I know we've all heard it. I know we've all been grown up on the biblical account, the Torah account, the Quranic account. But how true is that statement? Let's get into it.
Here we go!
Now, growing up, we were all subject to the film, The Ten Commandments, where we saw the Jews toiling and tussling and slaving away at the pyramids. And they were, slaves by this evil Pharaoh. Who had them in chains and was treating them badly. And Moses famously had a song called "Let My People Go."
When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go.
That's what he said. He said, "Let my people go." And everyone got emotionally whipped up into that story. Now, that story is just that. It's a story, okay? It's actually not true. Now, a lot of you are going to say, "No, Sarah, you are a blasphemous individual. You are causing blasphemy. The Jews were slaves in Egypt." Let's see what the archaeologists have to say.
Egypt has displayed its latest archaeological discovery. Tombs more than 4,000 years old, said to belong to workers who built them. The modest 9-foot deep shafts encased in limestone were uncovered last week. They held a dozen skeletons of pyramid builders, perfectly preserved by dry desert sand. In addition to bones, the tombs also contain jars that once held beer and bread meant for the workers in their afterlife. Egypt's archaeology chief Zahi Hawass said they date to the 4th dynasty, around 2,500 years before Christ. He said the discovery could well be the most important of the 21st century, with their location a key element in dispelling a popular belief.
But the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders reconstruct history and tell us that the builders of the pyramids were Egyptians and the builder of the pyramids were not slaves, because they would be buried beside the pyramids, in the shadow of the pyramids.
Hawass said the manner of their burial and the fact that those who died during the construction were entombed so close to the pharaohs and the pyramids meant they were honored workers, not slaves.
I told you. The archaeologists are telling you that it wasn't real. Not only are the archaeologists telling you, there are article after article of archaeologists, of historians, of other peoples talking about the fact that the Jews were not enslaved in Egypt. Where do we get the story? This story comes from the biblical account, the Toranic account, the Quranic account.
The slaves are mine. Their lives are mine. All that they own is mine.
It's from the Quran. It's from the Bible. It's from the Torah. It is actually a myth, guys. It's a myth, okay? This story is a myth. It actually didn't happen. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. I actually had this conversation with somebody at Speaker's Corner a few years ago. He was actually a Muslim guy. And I was telling him, look, you can't just say that this story happened when there's no evidence for it happening.
Moses and Pharaoh,
yeah, Moses and Pharaoh. Okay? Can you confidently tell me right now that as far as that particular event, in your words, as far as that particular event is concerned, we have all the necessary evidence to formulate a conclusion as to whether it occurred or it did not?
I can confidently tell you that the one thing that the people of the Nile Valley in particular did was document their history, which is why I said you can find a new documentary on something that happened in the Nile Valley, or some pharaoh, some king, some queen, some whoever, every week on the Discovery Channel or any other channel. So hang on. At no point, with all of the archaeology that has been done on the Nile Valley since whenever archaeology started on the Nile Valley started, right? Have you been able to find what you're claiming?
You see, everyone can say a story. Everyone can tell a story, right? can you back that story up with evidence, with facts, with proof? Okay, I can say that I had dinner with Tinkerbell and Bigfoot last night. I can. Now, if I say that, should I have to back that statement up? Or should I just be able to say it and then ask you to say that it's not true or disprove that it's true? That makes absolutely no sense. If somebody makes a statement like the Jews were slaves in Egypt, as the biblical account does, as the Quranic account does, as the Torah does, they should be able to back up that statement outside of that Bible, outside of that Torah, outside of that Quran. But they can't do it. It can't happen. So that means that this story can only exist within a vacuum. It's in this vacuum and it can't come outside of this vacuum. So that's why all of these religious people believe it. People outside of the religious paradigm understand that it can't be backed up with any evidence. Now, the one thing that the Jews, the one thing that the Egyptians done, right, was document their history. That's why on the Discovery Channel right now, if you turn it on, you can probably find some kind of, I don't know, documentary on some kind of pharaoh, some kind of king, some kind of queen. The one thing they done is document their history very well. Have you ever seen a documentary on the Jews being slaves in Egypt? I haven't. I've seen many documentaries, but I haven't seen that one. You know why? Because it didn't exist. It didn't happen. It's a myth. It is a myth. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. Okay? I'm so sorry, but yeah, you've been lied to. We've all been lied to. I hope that helped.